Q-nablers who should be Q-shamed of themselves. So imagine that you're a news dude, or dudette of course, and you're trying to show that our president's recent executive order has credible support. So you go to Twitter and find credible accounts to put on your extremely popular news show. One would presume you check to see what other things those accounts have tweeted in the past, and perhaps even taken a moment to glance at the names on those accounts, right? The names that appear above every one of their tweets. You are, after all, giving these random people a huge signal boost while displaying them as credible opinions. I'm just making sure we're all on the same page before this happens.
Another Twitter user chiming in saying, do not for a second underestimate the significance of this executive order. Thank you, President, for reestablishing and preserving free speech rights for all students.
I feel like I've been sarcastically saying this a lot, but oh, good job there, Fox News! Way to make a major QAnon conspiracy peddler named QAnon76 squee over your name drop, you absolutely non-corrosive knot sludge that shouldn't be abolished. Because it would be one thing if we were talking about a small group of internet nut jobs here, sad and isolated and in desperate need for community and help though they may be. But this is an ever-growing, sycophantic and batshit conspiracy based on, and I can't stress this enough, absolutely no credible evidence, and it's being supported by major positions in our media and government up to and including the fucking president. In a sane world, anyone who gives it credence would be intervened and removed from power. And yet we now have several lawmakers openly promoting QAnon, one in South Carolina and the other currently running for office in Florida. And while that first person eventually walked it back, you know, after the damage had been done, the dude running in Florida actually has a QAnon section of his campaign website that simply reads, and again, this is real life, "Who is Q?" The answer, of course, being a completely anonymous source on a racist message board that has zero credibility or sourcing, is perpetually incorrect, and is being propped up as a shield against the obvious reality that our president isn't very good. There, I answered your question, serious political candidate, so maybe now you can take the page down, and perhaps also your entire campaign. It's actually the least surprising that Trump himself has boosted QAnon on multiple occasions, because he's like, dumb, and generally seems to have no idea what he's doing or what he's about to do at any given moment, and just gloms on to whatever is in front of him despite the implications, whether it be some racist slogan or an adorable conspiracy baby.
I'm disliked, but actually they respect us. That's more important. Look at that beautiful baby. Look at that beautiful baby. Wow, what a baby. What a baby. That is a beautiful baby. That's like from an advertisement. Perfect. Look how happy that baby is. So beautiful. Thank you, darling. That's really nice.
In fairness, that baby being used as a prop for a volatile conspiracy theory around child sex trafficking is a very beautiful baby. Great baby spotting, Mr. President. But again, not surprising if he didn't even notice the big stupid Q onesie, because not only does Trump have zero need to do anything to make QAnon snowball any more than it is, but honestly, he might not be aware of it at all. And the fact that Lion Sanders, one of the liars, specifically addressed Q, saying that the president is aware of and condemns QAnon.
Two quickies about last night in Tampa. First of all, does the president encourage the support of people who showed up last night in these QAnon and Blacks for Trump fringe groups?
On the first part, the president condemns and denounces any group that would incite violence against another individual, and certainly doesn't support groups that would promote that type of behavior.
Just makes me think even more that he absolutely doesn't know what they are. The people I'd much rather call out for their playful curiousness are the ones that don't already have 1,000 impeachable offenses on the back burner. People who, when the dust settles, need to be condemned by their own party and 100% f*** off for the rest of time. They got Notch, because of course they did. Also in the no shit bucket are celebrities James Woods and Roseanne Barr. Then there's Kurt goddamn Schilling for some reason. But the scariest show of support has to be the clickbait reaction to the Epstein arrest, an actual wealthy sex trafficker with ties to Hollywood. Despite Epstein not being on QAnon's radar until he was already exposed to the public, weird, this can easily be seen as a validation. So when New York Magazine posts headlines like this, they should absolutely be ashamed of themselves and probably apologize for it. And not just because it's on the section of their magazine called Intelligencer. Because the answer there is no, New York Magazine. QAnon wasn't right. In fact, they aren't even right about the people who we know are rapists. You've probably seen this photo on Twitter or social media of Bill Clinton with a woman claimed to be Rachel Chandler flying on Epstein's Lolita Express. And while the Lolita Express absolutely had Clinton listed as a passenger in the flight log books about 26 times, that specific picture, when looked at through a 5-second Google image search, is from a 2009 Gawker article about Bill Clinton on another billionaire womanizer's jet, Ron Burkle. It doesn't change the point being made about old rapey Bill, and in fact adds to it because Burkle is an entirely different scandal. But it's important to note that nowhere in that article, or any article anywhere, does it state that woman is Rachel Chandler, a real person who QAnon is now targeting as an accomplice to the sex trafficking cabal, despite having no factual connection whatsoever. They're taking an actual news story and tracing it over with misinformation so that they can credit themselves for it and get the added bonus of terrorizing a woman. Pizzagate booster Mike Cernovich, who lies about not boosting Pizzagate, is already taking credit for the arrest by saying it was his courtroom win that unsealed the Epstein files, while ignoring the fact that it was actually a case by the New York Times that unsealed the files. It's the journalism brag equivalent of, I loosened it first, but by someone who didn't even touch the metaphorical pickle jar. Cut the shit, Mike! And according to documents filed by the victim's lawyer, Cernovich's move to unseal the files was an attempt to intimidate the victim as a proxy for Alan Dershowitz, who has been named as being involved in Jeffrey Epstein's child sex ring. So cut the shit, Mike, into little slices and eat it. Eat the shit up. There's this real pedophile sex trafficker, who is now dead somehow, who had links to many very powerful people who deserve to be exposed. One of which is probably our president, another of which is an ex-president, who said he'd only been on Epstein's plane a couple of times when it was 26. And QAnon is going to completely delude the narrative with their bullshit, and attention-hungry news sites are going to let them. And considering the dark hole we've explored today, that these are, by all accounts, confused, lonely, and mentally ill people who are becoming increasingly violent and unstable. It's a cult, united across the internet, all centered around this guy. And that's just, it's super wrong. This is all very wrong, and I hate it. And you should hate it too. And someone should do something about it. And I don't know what. But if you have a family member or a friend that believes this stuff, don't give up on them, no matter how frustrating it is. Because once they're fully isolated from reality, it'll get worse for them. And if you have maybe you don't talk to a family member or a friend because of this stuff anymore. Maybe you've cut them off. Maybe give them a call. It'll probably be very frustrating. But you're better than Q. We are better than Q. Also, it's weird they're cutting the budget for sex trafficking by 80%. Okay, see ya. Wow, what a clip that was from the show. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to this channel as well as our other channel where the full episodes are. It's called Some More News. This is called Some More News Clips, which you know because you just watched it. Anyway,